So this is is this a dummy award? It's one of the things that was. It looks like Sarkodie. It was actually given to Sarkodie and some other celebrities by one Dr. Kwame Forjo. And somewhere in July, a colleague got in touch with me and said he had a story. It's about this man who has been running a scheme, and his investigations have proven that it's a scam. And so, I spoke to the man. He gave me the man's contact. I spoke to him. We had a very lengthy conversation, I think 40 minutes or so. And the man, tried to clear all doubts, respond to the allegations that had been raised in the script that was given me by the man Abdul Karim Ibrahim. And Karim joins me via Zoom. Karim, welcome.
Thank you very much, Abrantepa.
Is it in order to congratulate you?
Well, I'm not so sure, Abrantepa. I think that we just did what we do. And if there is any congratulations, I think that you and I will share that in equal measure, because you know Terry as much as any of us does. And the only exclusive interview that anybody had with Dr. Yuen was conducted by you. So I know you have been very quiet on this subject, but if there's any congratulations, I think you should take yours first.
So tell me, how did it start? How did you get the story? How did you get interested in doing this story?
So there was a time that that I was watching television, and then I saw Dr. Yuen. He was presenting an award to the chairman of the Ashanti regions, the NDP in Ashanti region, Chairman Wuntumi. And it just happened that, this Dr. Yuen he acted quite funny in this particular thing. So here's someone who is alleging that he works with the United Nations and presenting an award to somebody who we know very well in this country that is engaged in galamsey. And in this award, he was presenting an award to someone who he claims the United Nations was awarding for his contributions to the Sustainable Development Goals. And but you know the challenges that we have with this problem of galamsey and all of that, you would know that the UN would have a problem with that. So my understanding of what the UN does and his story that Chairman Wuntumi was part of top 20 people across the world, which they cut down all the way to 5, and now to award him, it sounded quite fishy. So right after that show, I looked up this man, and then I realized that his website, what he claims to be doing, and some history to his name were all very fishy. So I began to dig into him, and then I got to realize that this man is not like anything that he says he is. Yes. So that's where it all started.
I see. So how long did it take you to do all your checks?
Well, I think I concluded in just a matter of days. The only thing that made this quite a long one was because, as the job demands, we needed to hear his side of the story. So I had initially contacted him and wanted to get an interview with him, but it became a challenge because after establishing contact, the next time that I was calling him, he was not picking my call. And so that is when I reached out to you. You have a bigger platform,
Wow,
sure. And all of that. So if you could do that story, and then you were very fortunate to have gotten in touch with him, had an interview with him, and all of that. But his story was such that, to be fair to him, we needed to still do some further checks. And so that's why this took quite a long time. But I think that when I started following the story somewhere in June, and got in touch with him in June, got in touch with Harvard and other people just around June. But of course, it's just this month that the story is coming out. So it's been out there for a while.
I see. So what did you make of his response? to your investigations?
Well, I think for his response, you must put that against what the facts really are. So, for instance, he says that he works with the United Nations or has some affiliation with the United Nations. And so what you must then do is that the mission that he's running, the United Nations Blueprint mission, you must find out from the operations of the United Nations as to whether or not there's anything like that. If you do, what you would realize is that the United Nations has nothing like that. That means at that point it's not true. Again, he says that he has an association with the late Kofi Annan, and that Kofi Annan poached him from Harvard to come and work with him at the UN. Again, as we have gotten to learn now, the United Nations headquarters and their office here in Accra have written to suggest that they have no relationship with him. The family of Kofi Annan, I have not heard from them, but there's nothing that suggests indeed that they have any relationship with him again. And then also, he says that he did his PhD with Harvard. That's where Mr. Kofi Annan poached him from. Again, when I wrote to Harvard, the response that they provided was to suggest that they have no relationship with him. I mean, they don't have any account or record of somebody like that being admitted or somebody like that graduating from their PhD class in Kennedy School. So all of those things point to the fact that it cannot be true that this gentleman has all the association and relationship with all those groups as he has mentioned. So that leads us to conclude that he is not genuine, but we would not have had a problem with his awards if he was just organizing an award as one who, Dr. Fojo something. I mean, you at Abrantepa can organize your own award, and nobody will have a problem with that. But when you begin to create an association of your award with UN, with ECOWAS, with the government of Ghana, then we must cross-check and fact-check and see whether or not that is true. And to the extent that that is not true, we can say the award is fraudulent.
I see. Now that we've heard the UN, we've heard Kofi Annan Foundation come out with statements dissociating themselves from him. Does it end there? Is there anything you are looking out for?
Well, I think that it can end there depending on the parties that we are looking at here. So if you are someone who you find that your brand, so let's take the D Blacks, the Sarkodie's, and the rest who have fallen victims to this. I want to believe that for the false presentation that Dr. Fojo made to them, even though they have a duty upon themselves to also check. I'm not a lawyer, but I want to believe that if they wanted to take this man on, they could do so. Because if they are able to establish that the man presented all those facts or evidences to them to suggest that he worked with the UN, and they can prove that he presented some documents or whatever it is in such a way that the average reasonable person would believe that he was indeed working for the United Nations, then they would perhaps have a case there. Also, the United Nations, for instance, and the office here in Ghana can take on this man, given that he has falsely presented himself as an agent or officer of the United Nations. Again, even the family of Mr. Kofi Annan can also take up this matter in any way that they want because of the false representation and association with the name and the image of Mr. Kofi Annan. But I mean, if you have followed this whole thing to Arranpa, you get the impression that this is somebody who may have a problem. And so from the perspective of the artist and the many other people who fell victim, I think that in their own interest, maybe they don't want to drag this and continue to run their own image in the mud. So they are going to likely let it go. And so that's what I'm seeing here. But I think that if one wanted to take him on, they could do so.
Okay. Karim, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you the very best. Is there anything you want to add before you take leave of us?
Well, I guess I should just say that I find it very shocking that the likes of Sarkodie, D Black, Honorable Agban Bagbin, the General Secretary of the MPP, quite a number of them. By last count, I had about 29 people. Former Ambassador Australian ambassador to Ghana, all of them fell victim to this. And it didn't take me more than 30 minutes to have a suspicion of somebody like that. And I think that we need to do better and not in the future allow ourselves to so easily be swindled. We are still in the climate of NAM1. We're in a climate of similar fraudulent activities that we have seen in this country. And if we continue like this in future, I mean, nobody would take us very seriously when we become victims again to some of these fraudulent acts of Abrantepa.
Thank you so much for joining us, and
always happy to be on your show.
You know, when Karim sent me the script, I say, "Osha Papa no cry, Osha is suit now." If you watch the video, Osha na to Mr. Papa no or scam. So, and Sako there too says by their suit, we shall know them. So, Dr. Fojo, Obede. Now, Sarkodie has featured in any feature. Sarkodie has given him a mention in his song, "Give Way" or "Give Me Way." That song was released just yesterday, and it's been the talk of town. Arnold, Papa, how are you? Industry.
Oh, I have to commend you for your interview. I listened to your interview with him. It was a very professional interview. You did very well.
What are the highlights?
I like the main reason why I like the interview is that the interview gives a lot ammunition for you who are criticizing Dr. UN to hold on to, because you allowed him to express himself. You didn't try to gut you, try to what's the word I should use? You didn't try to make it look like you are attacking him, you to make him get defensive, but you made him feel relaxed and then spew the things he was spewing.
Make mama word, just a mania plug. Or see me a good journalist.
Yeah.
And
when I started the interview, the first thing he said, I was like, so
what did he say?
When the first sentence, it wasn't coherent. And I was like, the way this man is struggling to even understand what you are asking him, didn't anybody feel suspicious that this man sounds fishy or suspicious? Like his very first sentence put me off. You understand? I felt like he didn't have any understanding of what he himself was talking about. You understand? So from the very first second, I was like, there's no way I can trust this man for anything.
What he's saying, because I didn't listen to the interview, but then based on his narration, and he's not the first person to actually talk about the fact that the way the man, first of all, his appearance.
I don't have a problem with his appearance.
No, but that's what I'm saying. No, you are not the first. A lot of people have questioned even how he looks.
Looks, totally.
Not his looks, but then his fashion sense. Put that way.
Most intellectuals are fashion dumb.
Oh, not all of them. Not all of them.
You say I should share my view. I have an issue with that.
Yes. No, share.
Arnold, let's go on.
So and lots who have questioned his utterances, like, does it make sense? Does it not make sense? And so you are expecting people to actually figure it out, to actually determine whether he's genuine or not. If this person with question marks over his fashion sense and the way he talks is able to quote unquote scam high profile personalities on all divides, from politics to the clergy to entertainment, then that person deserves an award. Clearly. In other jurisdictions, he would have been used for something positive because of his mindset, his ability to actually, you get it? Because there's this Leonardo's film, something, it was a true story.
The Wolf of Wall Street?
No, there's another one. And then that gentleman was actually used by the FBI.
There's another movie like that.
Yes, with Leonardo. Yes.
I think
Catch Me If You Can or something. Catch Me If You Can.
Mauli gave me a certain movie.
Yes.
Mauli, the one sitting the camera capture him. He's a movie guy. He gave me a certain movie. I watched it. It was like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then finally, after he was caught, The government had to use him because of how smart he was.
Yeah.
And so, like I'm saying, if he were to be in another country, we would have found something useful for him. Scrap that. For me, I think the only reason that this thing became a national news is because of the showbiz involvement.
Yeah.
Because he's been doing or giving dishing out awards for a long time. However, the only time that you had the likes of Sarkodie, DJ Black, and the rest in the mix, it becomes a big issue. Again, I state unequivocally that the element of Sarkodie is the one that actually made this thing big.
For sure.
Sarkodie. Why? Because one, he failed to appear on the VJ in the stage, show himself for even pick a plaque.
Yeah.
Here he was, well dressed, picking, a kettle. You understand? Again, mind you, Sarkodie has carved a niche for himself as that gentleman who doesn't really want to entangle in any controversy.
Yeah.
So once he was caught in that, first you have the neutrals drag him. Mind you, although he seemed to have squashed his beef with Shatawale, but the SM guys are not convinced, and so they will also drag him. Now he comes into a tangle with Stoneboy. For all the things that he put Stoneboy through, being natives have been waiting. So once they also got this news, they dragged him. So it is that Sarkodie element that actually pushed this. Abrantepa, for me, why do you think the man is walking free? Because nothing bars or incriminates anybody of holding awards.
Yeah.
I can sit here, put together a plan, and say I'm doing awards. I'm awarding the most nicest persons in this room based on my own criteria.
Yeah, I will win that one.
Oh, you win.
I will win.
You understand? And this is how the awards. Awards come with plaques or a certain ID to actually show you that this is what I'm giving you. Boss, I can give you my Chalowote as your prize. That's my award. So, in essence, the gentleman has not done anything wrong by giving out awards. The only problem is his association or link with the UN. That's it. Even with that regard, if you like, take him on. If you feel victimized or you feel you've been scammed, why don't you take him on? What you need to do is report him and let the law take its course. Other than that, he will walk free and take the shine. And he's been doing interviews all over. He's now one of the biggest stars.
Yeah.
You understand? So clearly, when it comes to dishing out the awards, and he's done nothing wrong.
I've seen how Sarkodie and the others have been trying to join the troll.
Yeah.
Now he has he has given you a mention in his song.
That's the only way out. That is the only way out. Because you see, at the end of the day, how do you get out of this? By making fun of yourself. And you realize it took quite a while for Sarkodie to actually come out. Master, because the trolling was too much. And so he actually had to hide behind a certain Shatawale to actually come out. Oh, Shatawale, I'm on the phone with Shatawale. That was his leeway. That could have caused him a depression. You understand? So he should thank Shatawale. However, it's good for him to make fun of himself, the likes of D Black and Sarkodie making fun of themselves. And for me, any good artist would take advantage. And so I was not too surprised he actually mentioned him in his latest song. That's the way to go.
Nene, quick one. Is this dent too difficult to clean?
By who?
For the people who have been involved, those who have received the awards.
I don't know about the difficulty to clean. What I want to talk about is
I'll answer that when it's done.
because what Sarkodie is doing is probably the best way to clean it up. Is by making light of the matter. Because when you take it too serious, then other people will take it too serious. But when other people are taking it serious and you are joking with it, at the time, I saw big control said, when I was a kid, people used to tease my head a lot. Yeah. And then now when I meet somebody, I introduce myself with my nickname, which involves my head. So when I thought that, oh, your friend Egg of Life because of my head. There was a movie that came out, Egg of Life. It was had a very big head.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I do that, people like, oh, your head is not that bad.
And he a man.
Yeah.
I'm now when you
do that, then the person doesn't have an arsenal to attack you with.
Okay.
Because you use the M&M theory. When I diss myself, you can't diss me anymore. You understand? So that's what Sarkodie is using. Sarkodie is using the age-old hip-hop theory, which we call M&M theory in hip-hop. And then I think that he's executing it very well. You understand? And so people in government, those who have a very serious, like the Dean, what's his name? The Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, somebody Professor like that doesn't have a very jokey public image. So I think that for someone like that it will be a bit more difficult because people want to take him serious. And the moment he tried not to take him serious, then to affect everything else he wants people to take serious. You understand? So I think that is where the issue is. The issue is how serious people take you. Then when people take you serious, they expect you to know better. But what the guy did will fall under misrepresentation, right? Misrepresentation because he used the UN, Kofi Annan and all those things. So he misrepresented himself. And misrepresentation is a civil issue. So somebody will have to sue him.
Yeah.
So who would want to sue him for what he did? You understand? So I don't think anybody involved in this matter will be willing to take legal action against him. So I don't think that is going to have any effect. But there was something I wanted to talk about when he was talking.
Yes, Arnold coming.
Maybe to come.
Yes, you said you wanted to answer.
Yes. Because you asked a question about whether it would be very difficult for them to clear the dent.
Hey, I want to talk about Sarkodie. Because it's obvious it's because of Sarkodie that this thing is getting so much stake. And I was saying that Jay-Z has this line where he said, I don't run rap no more, I run the map. And I think that Sarkodie has gotten to a point in his career where he thinks that he's bigger than just music. He's trying to transcend music. And so that is why when somebody gives him VGMA, he won't go to the venue to collect it because in his personal capacity, he feels that he's bigger than VGMA. There was a time when Sarkodie would come to the VGMA venue specifically to collect Rapper of the Year and then leave when they're about to present Artist of the Year because that was the most important thing to him at the time, which was to be, I think that was in 2012. It was to be recognized as the best rapper in Ghana. And then when he achieved that, I think at this point he wants to be recognized as a thinker beyond just music. That is why he is putting out a book. That is why he talks more about his business interest with the stand chart and all those things more than he talks about music these days.
Okay.
And so this award, I think in Sarkodie's mind, was a way for him to establish himself as somebody who is to be respected outside of music. I think that is why he was quick to jump on this thing without doing the necessary checks.
Okay, Arnold.
I pray and hope that what Nenebi said about regards to Sarkodie not thinking VGMA, now I hope it's not true. No, seriously. Because no artist is bigger than VGMA.
Obviously.
No artist. Yeah. And so I'll find it very detestable for the likes of Sarkodie to say, oh, I'm bigger than VGMA, so I'd rather go and pick this a UN award than the VGMA.
I don't think that I think it's bigger than VGMA. There was a time people, even till days, people like Jay-Z and Kanye don't go for Grammys because they think they are bigger than music. Not that they are bigger than the Grammy. They think that they are to be recognized beyond just music. I don't think it's bigger than
you see, that is different. I think it's got to do with the addiction. You wanting to be recognized for something else does not mean you are bigger.
So you don't want to be still held down to the music.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you are bigger than music.
Yes, I don't think Sarkodie thing is bigger than the VGMA.
But you made it seem like that.
I think he's bigger than just music, the music business. You want to be recognized beyond just the music business.
Yeah, but
so you want to be
recognized beyond just music.
That doesn't mean he's bigger than.
Yeah, it doesn't mean so. And even if you want to be respected outside the music frontier, it should not affect your relationship because that's the base. If that base is killed, You have no other leverage.
I think his base is for him. His base is still having the fans.
That's what I'm saying. It's the music.
Consume the music.
It's the music. Snapchat is with you because of the music. Because you're having that large fan base because of the music. That's the base. And so you do not have to disrespect that base.
Sure.
So let's put it in their mind that listen, you are not bigger than that base that's giving you, that other platforms. Now you talk about dent. See, the Eminem example doesn't come in here. See, the Eminem one, I come to you and laugh at myself or tell you my debt, and so I don't give you any arsenal to laugh at me again because I already told you what I mean. This one, you've been caught in a scam. There's a difference. If a person is start bash you, I'll use it to bash you regardless of what she wants. So the Eminem example is not the same. See, this is Ghana, and I've been saying, Ghana here, if you have an issue, just relax small, man, be achacha 1 month. The papa no. Where is it? You understand?
Yeah.
Small time, it will pass. So we are so much thirsty for like news, current one, and then we'll jump on it and forget the other one. So it's simple. Just relax, and then it moves. Now Muhammad is being healed after manifesto reading. Where is the Papa No?
So what I'm trying to say is that Papa No was...
No. The bottom line, what he's trying to say is, you don't really need to force yourself to clear a head.
But
It will go on its own because there are a number of issues that will come.
Hey, you doing this, Papa?
I don't get this.
Oh my God! You don't be this. I only mentioned 3 per year. Saying, why am I going to it?
Because you know why?
What?
I want. Okay,
If you're
let me
NDC,
not.
be
Let me
proud,
say.
be
Let me.
proud.
I didn't register. I'm not voting this election.
No problem, but you are
In the
still.
last, let me say this categorically. In the last election, I voted for MPP. I'm a
What's the
floating
proof?
voter.
What's the proof?
Well, my friends who are MPP know that. I
Hey,
voted for
boss,
them.
but yeah, you are acting NDC too much.
Because
but that's fine.
Because I felt like you were attacking the NDC too
Oh
much.
no, I won't do that. I can't
Okay. Yapon.
do that.
Thank you for watching. I've been on the show with Arnold Asamoah-Baidoo. Arnold writes for entertainmentgh.com. Nenebi is a columnist and author of The Clickbait Culture. My name is Benefo Wabin Abrantepa.